Hello. Another game. Hopefully it'll be a good one. You know, the thing is, in these games, you make one mistake, even if you're behind by a bit, I do encourage you to keep playing. I mean, if you make like a lot of them, you know, the thing is, in these games, you make one mistake. If you make a lot of them, yeah, then I guess resigning's okay. But like the purpose of a teaching game, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have any chance of winning anymore. I should resign. But that's really not the purpose of a teaching game. Like when you're playing someone that should be giving you like a 6 or 7 stone handicap evenly, you're not really expecting to win in that specific way. I mean, I do play a lot of moves that I usually wouldn't play, or like I open in ways I usually wouldn't open. Uh, because like I'm experimenting new things too. But the thing is, you have to learn from you do have to learn from like where you're actually making mistakes. That's kind of the point of this of a game like this, and seeing how a better player thinks as well. I mean, that's why like I do encourage like people not to watch the stream while they're playing me, but then go back and watch the stream later, because that's how you're going to get the most out of something like this. I also play this particular time limit. I mostly play this. I actually play this particular time limit because it's very similar to like certain tournament time limits. Okay, since I already have this particular stone, I usually would play something like E2, but I already have this stone, so I'm going to play B2 instead. If he didn't jump first, and he played this directly, I would probably play E2, which is generally why I would actually prefer. I would actually do C3 first before jumping out. But jumping out's not bad. I mean, jumping out's perfectly fine. It's just that you're not really able to threaten this particular group anymore because I have the B2 extension. That's fine as well. I am going to double pincer here. I probably should have just jumped up myself on this actually. It's probably not a good move by me. There is a bit of room for me to maneuver down here. Um, I don't feel like playing E7 and trying to get out because that could actually end up really, really bad. If I play this, that is tuning up for a fight, which is not something I really want to do. So I'm going to play. I don't actually recommend this move because I am kind of sacrificing the stone. Not really. Not really. Running the D7 stone may not be. I probably should have just played F. I probably should have just played F7. Regularly, I probably would have played F7 because I would actually be expecting something like this. There's not much. This does settle this group, but there's not much territory in here, which is why I'm okay with this. But I definitely should have just played f7 and then attack these two groups together. I can actually play e6. I can actually play e6. Probably should have played e6, actually. I probably should just play this differently. This particular thing looks pretty weak actually right now. I played this pretty badly, but this particular shape does not look very good. In retrospect. That particular move doesn't look that good. There's actually very little threatening my group here. Letting me, I think, play N14 is pretty bad for black. That's not. You just do this and you're fine for the most part. There's no threat to white right now. So there's pretty much no threat to white at this point. He's not going to be able to kill you here. I don't know if that was a good move or not, though. There's not that much threat onto this group. I think I'm just going to take this. It's fine. That Sente might have been better doing that first, but it doesn't really matter. As long as that group's alive in the corner over there. That doesn't really make too much sense. I do have to jump this out. But generally, I'm not really sure what this move was for. I suppose you can try to build influence that way, but I just don't really see it as a thing right now. I mean, if you're trying to build up influence this way, that wouldn't really make too much sense. Not exactly sure. Suppose he can still attack this. But these three might not actually be worth all that much now. He does have a lot of influence to attack this group over here, I'll give you that. I think he's trying to make this territory up here, but he is giving up a lot of he's giving up a lot of bottom territory and able to be able to do this. So this is one of those situations where I'm not really sure if it's actually worth it. It's like, if you really look at the total amount of territory up above, it may not actually be all that much. And plus, like, there's always options for me to try to disrupt it. His group down here isn't that strong. He kind of sacrificed like at least 20 points, like 10, 20 points down here to make whatever's up here. And I'm not really sure if whatever's up there is actually worth it. And there's not much territory down here, remember. I always have that move. Just that particular move's fine. I can just do this, though. Yeah, see, like, as I said, one of the problems with SDK players is that they get too obsessed with, like, a little bit of territory here. And they don't realize it's really not all that much. Like, this is at most, like, 20 points in here. And you have to be like very, very careful, and like you have to be very, very careful to actually be able to even maintain the 20 point to maintain this the points here, because like I can fly down here more or less and kind of like take away a lot of the points in the corner. I probably would have been better just by playing this, honestly. But I can fly down here and take away a lot of the points in the corner, unfortunately for him. I do have to be careful. He might be better playing R4, because if he doesn't, I'm going to play it. And I will take these, yeah. If he double Hanes, I'm definitely going to take this. This. That's a really, really bad move. You would definitely play R2, and that fight would actually be very interesting, because now, like, this is definitely dead. Like, you lost all these points in here, and there's no way Black's gonna have enough territory now. Unless he kills this group, which is pretty much impossible. This group is alive. That's why you play R4 here. You don't play that move. And then you see, like, you have 4 liberties out here. And this, I think, at least is a ko, which is a lot better than this result. Because now Black really doesn't have any territory anywhere. That's not really going to matter all that much. Just going to secure this. Like, attacking this is not going to work. There's a lot of ways for me to get around that. And, like, make some eyes and stuff. I'm just securing my bottom territory. So do this first. Then I'm just going to make this particular connection here. I guess he could play that, but I don't think it's going to matter all that much. Yeah, I would probably play it if I were him, though. You don't have a lot of choice right now. Yeah, I still have one liberty there, so that's fine. It's a big move. I think this is fairly big for me because it kind of secures my group. And plus I always have this in here if I really need to. I think this is big because it kind of secures me. That's the only reason I'm really doing that, by the ways. I also have this clamp here. That could be pretty problematic for him. So like some kind of move over here is actually needed. At this point, this move is not really useful. I can let him just do that. I don't really know what the purpose of that one is, I guess. This group's no longer in danger because he still owes a move here and I can just like make some eyes over here. It's not a big deal. Probably should have retreated one, but whatever. Oh, that's a wrong move. I'm just going to, because he could have taken this right now. That's a bad move. He played that sequence right up until then. He should have just played b13. I mean, this is fine. This doesn't really matter. Don't really know. I needed to play that move just to be sure. I don't even know if this is that big, honestly. It probably isn't. Oh, the purpose of that was just kind of like protecting this cut. If he Ataris, I'm just going to do this. Yeah, that was the entire purpose of that move. This stone isn't very big. Does that really matter? Let me get into that. I don't think that matters all that much because there's no points in there. I don't think that matters that much. There is something here, but it doesn't really matter all that much. This is really big. That's big, but this is bigger. You wouldn't do this first because I'm not really sure if this. I think it's dead anyways, but I'm not 100% sure. I mean, either way, like this is definitely Sente. This is most definitely Sente. And because it's Sente, like I'm just gonna do this over that. I mean, you can see there's definitely a lot of points there. And also there is this. There is a correct way to react to this, however, so I don't think this is a big deal. So I wouldn't really want to trade that. Well, at this point I might. No, I wouldn't. I guess it's fine. Yeah, there's no point in that. There's nothing here. Just a misread on my part. This is Gote for him, so I can do this stuff as I want. And also this. I have to do this because otherwise this is dead. But that's also Sente, so it's fine. Okay, that's not as big. I'm going to ignore that. I'm definitely taking this. This is going to be much bigger than these two. Way, way bigger. These two aren't that big. I didn't have to do that. Then I'm going to block this. These two are worth around 5 points. This is going to be much, much bigger than that. I think connecting would just be the best move there. That's my opinion, though. Getting a couple points here is worth it. Oh, this is big. That's a mistake. That's actually a definite mistake. Going this way is way, way bigger. You see, I got all these points here. Sequencing in the end game is actually pretty important, and I think the end game is where I got most of the advantages against him in this particular game. It's fine, I don't really need to pay attention to that. Connecting that's fine as well. Don't screw up and do the Hane because that's going to cost you points because if he cuts. This is definitely the correct move to go. You see, like, this ended up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This was like less than 15 points, and he gave up at least like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then, like, this is not only 12 points because originally this 12 points could have been his. So that's at least a 25-point swap in exchange for the 15. Plus, he had to give up this over here. I mean, he messed up over here, but I could have just taken at least to here. So this particular, like, trying to get all the middle territory actually cost him way more than what he actually got on the middle territory. He's probably deciding between P5.
You have won.
So a lot of this, I did gain a lot in the end game, but I did pull ahead way before that, obviously. I actually recommend most people just do this, but I wanted to just make some exchanges, so that's fine. So my thing is when white pincers, I almost always do this first because then he has to play e2, whereas if you play this and I play this and then you tuck under, I will now play this. This is a much better position than this. It's a couple more points, plus there's more eye space. You don't want to do this as white right now because you give black options to do things like this. So having the jump here, like trading this jump for this jump, is slightly beneficial for white. It's not earth shattering or game breaking, but it's slightly beneficial for white. So and then tuck under, I get to do this. I'm in a slightly better position. Pincer, like I said, I should have played f7. That is by far the best move for white. Me playing this is bad. Going here, I should have just left it alone and played somewhere else. So, but I chose to take the pincer here, and this is the best move right now because it pincers this group, and it also puts pressure over here. So that serves a dual purpose. That's why right now D15 is the best move. This is actually like, it was talking about like why this is too slow, but it really isn't because B9 is actually a really, really big move. There's a lot of points in that. So he does that. I'm going to go here. A regular Joseki. So yeah, you would definitely just do this, and then white would probably do this or do this. This is generally a bad move. That's going to be a bad move. White's obviously going to cut because if you end up doing this, then he's like 1 or 2 lines forward, and he gets a lot more points that way. If you, however, cut and then you go over here, obviously I'm going to Hane this. And Haneing this is very bad for black because it breaks, like black is trying to build in, the purpose of this particular Joseki is for black to actually build influence on this side. But me letting white Hane that destroys the influence on that side. So that's why it's actually a really, really bad move. Yeah, this is big because white has to respond. So he does that. I should have done this immediately, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. He does this. I'm going to, I think usually the Atari on this side is better, but right now, I guess, because I can get the stone, the Atari on this side is better. Okay, and plus, like, the Atari on this side guarantees that that group lives. Usually, I prefer S17, but in this case, yes, R16 is better. So I do the Atari, he connects. Yeah, he connects fine. And this is the best move because it does put pressure on here, but I guess I played this particular move to put pressure on this side. Playing here, I'm going to go here. That, I'm going to do that. This is obviously alive. If this Liberty was filled, then these 3 would be dead. Let's say if this Liberty was actually filled, he could do this, and then like, oh no, never mind. Never mind. That's a bad calculation. It's fine. This is 1 too long. It is actually alive. You should play this first though. Just for future reference, you should actually play that first. You won't be able to kill it, but you should play it first. That's generally a pretty bad. This is not a good move. You're trying to build the influence over here. And if you play this move, you absolutely have to play this move. You can't really let white get the tiger's mouth. So if you play this, you should definitely play this. He does that. You let me get the pressure over here, and then see, the thing is, like, you're in a conundrum because your group of stones here, these aren't in danger, but they're not strong. But if you actually force me this way, the issue is, like, you're trying to build up influence to build this territory over here, and letting me do this kind of breaks that apart. So you didn't really succeed in doing anything with your influence here, and that's kind of a problem. So going here, generally you wouldn't do this. You generally wouldn't poke here because that makes me a little bit stronger. So that trade is favorable for white. That's fine, but there is still a 3-3 invasion here. I'm obviously going to do this. Then come up here. do that, just take it, and then extend. So as you can see, like the influence that he's building here is getting more and more useless. At this point, like this group still isn't completely good, but I would definitely try to run this or just straight up attack this at this point. So he does this. I'm very, very happy to do this. He's going to try to attack my group, but because his group isn't strong over here, I'm going to go ahead and return on this group. This trade is not good for, oh, by the way, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this. It's going to be like this kind of a sequence, and I will trade that right now. Doing this, like letting me grab all the bottom territory, I know the top territory looks fairly big. I shouldn't have made this charge, by the way, but I know the top territory looks pretty big. But you have to consider, like, it's very hard to solidify. I still have this particular move, which is pretty much like Sente for me. So you're not really gaining all that much. Like, and plus, like, you know, me doing this is like Gote for you. Me doing this is kind of like Gote for black. And then, like, I just come in here and he really can't do anything because, I mean, I guess he could try to poke around here, but it's going to be hard for him to solidify any territory. Like, being aggressive, you would actually play this, but if you're black, you do have problems over here, so it's not all that great. So he does this, I do this. This is not a good move. Because, like, you give me a chance to respond here, and now that I've responded here, you can't cut off the stone. This is a much more dangerous poke for white, because white doesn't really have a great way to fix it. You know, like, you have that move. White has to do this, and then you get this move, right? So if you're going to play in this kind of formation, you have to play J10 instead of L10. L10's a very bad play because it lets white fix all its cuts, and now you really can't do anything. This move is not good because it's just not big enough. Once again, like, if white plays here or here, you have about 10 points here. If you play here, you maybe have 15 points. So that's literally a 5 or 6 point move, and there's way bigger moves right now. Like, if I was black, I would probably play there, or I would, like, this is a good move as well. Because this, actually, you know what? I would actually play this because this actually solidifies this bottom and takes it kind of out of danger. But this would also be a really, really big move, solidifying the corner. So one of those two moves. So he does that. He lets me get you let me get the push. Like I said, like, it's telling you to play here, and it's telling you to play here, and that's because, like, these moves just aren't very big. Like, usually I wouldn't even really bother doing these moves in an even game because I know, like, in an even game, like, no one's gonna actually, well, they probably would actually respond to this by doing this or something. But, like, usually, like, I know that in an even game, if I play this, like, they're not gonna respond to that move. This move or this move is just way bigger. So obviously that lets me get this. This is the right move. You are essentially, you want the corner and you want to sacrifice a side for the corner, because if you try to disconnect me, you're probably not going to win this particular fight. That's a really bad move. You want to do this. And then, yes, I am actually going to do something like this. Yeah, I do actually think, hang on. I do actually think, no, actually he wins this. So let me actually, I can't do this, I don't think, because then this is too much, and black would definitely win this fight. So you would, like, white would definitely, no, like, this move is a very, very critical mistake. You would definitely do this. I think I would do this. But then, like, I don't think I win this fight is the problem. Yeah, you can just do this and black win this fight. you would do this over here, but I don't know. I think black has like one too many liberties. Not really sure how you would win this fight exactly. Yeah, but this is just playing over here. So like this is definitely a huge mistake. This is actually a really big mistake by black. This particular move is a huge mistake by black. Because this particular move basically like kills this group. Because remember, like if you play this and I connect, now I have Sente. And if you connect, I'm going to basically just Atari this way, and then now I definitely have way, way more liberties than you. I mean, the thing is, like, if you Atari this way, like, you give me the free pass like this. And that's definitely not good for black. So I think like Atariing this way basically makes you lose these two stones. If you do this, like white's actually in a, if you actually do this, white's actually in a pretty big bind. I mean, white, I don't really know what I would actually do as white. Because you have 4 liberties, I only have 3. And it's actually kind of hard for me to win this. I mean, if you do this, I'm going to win, but it's actually really hard for me to win this. It's actually hard for me to win this if I just do something like this and you start basically, yeah, and you start basically getting liberties. So I don't think I calculated this out right as me, but this is the critical mistake move from black. Obviously, that's not the right move. Katago says this is the right move. I personally would actually play here. So this kind of shape is just really bad because white can go here and you don't really have a good response. So yes, that's no good. So I'm gonna go here instead, which is not good for me, but still, I just want to kind of secure it at this point. I'm gonna connect. He does this. I'm gonna just go ahead and secure this. That's fine. And the thing is, like, this is generally isn't very big. Here, I believe you would probably just do this. But I'm gonna take this stone. Like, this isn't very big, but to me, because I'm already ahead, I just want to secure more of this group because, like, just to guard against things like this. Because now this isn't really worth all that much. I can just go play this. But without this, I would be a little bit concerned because this group is still a little bit weak. So you play this right now, then you do that. I should have just blocked here, honestly. I'm going to do that. He's going to do that. So because of this, you can actually go here. And 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's actually how this turns out. If you do this, like, sorry, so white is not in I mean, like, white can do this, but you can get this, and then, like, you know, white would probably do something like this. But it's not a good position for white. So I should have actually just backed off here, is what I should have done. But he played this wrong, because this is okay. Because after this, you still have this move. And usually what I would do is this move and trap you in, but now you have, like, now you have this, and obviously I'm down by 1 liberty. So this is actually a losing fight for white here. So I knew that, like, I know that's a mistake, and this is a legitimate move. But playing this out, And extending here was the big mistake. This is there's a move in here as well, because it kind of like makes you, I mean, you lose the stone, but white gains a lot on the outer. So I ended up just doing that first. There is something that you can actually do here to actually make black actually gain more. So, but there's nothing really right there. I'm going to do that first and then just kind of like do this. But here, the whole purpose of this particular, move was actually just to protect this cut when I Haned. Because letting me Hane that, that's definitely like worth a couple of points in there. Then the rest of this is just Sente. That is not, so like that is actually not that big. This is not as big as this. This is the biggest move, by the way, because that's actually Sente for white. I have to connect, and now you have all this territory in here. But this is not as big as this, because this is definitely Sente for white. I was thinking about doing this, but particularly, like, I don't know if I could actually... like, if I did this and he did this, I'm not really sure if this is dead. I don't think this is actually dead, but I might have been able to destroy all this territory in here. Either way, you know, this is Sente for me. So I tried doing this. Obviously, that didn't really work. I get that. That's fine. Oh, yeah. There is a Tsuji over here. I forgot. This is Ko. This is Ko, actually. Oh, I mean, it's not Ko, but it's not Ko because I would connect this. But there is, like, this type of move here. White is still alive. White's not, like, dead or anything. So white's actually still alive. But you do actually get this group of stones actually to go back. So remember, like, this, like, this kind of move, you threaten a Ko here. And then you can use this Ko advantage to actually, like, bring the rest of your stones back. So that is the last thing in this game that's actually worth teaching. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Have a nice